Welcome to this lecture on Adobe Illustrator by Technologies. In this lecture, we're going to be going over navigation and the many different ways to navigate in Illustrator, as well as views, and that includes saving views, managing them, and just how useful they can be. So first off, let's go over the two most basic tools, the ones you're going to be using the most for navigation. You already see that Illustrator has some scroll bars down here, and I don't think they're very useful, and you'll find when you're dealing with lots of objects in Illustrator, these bars are not going to be very convenient to use. So first off, let's look at the two main tools that you use. The Zoom tool, shortcut Z, and the hand tool, shortcut H. And what the hand tool does, we'll go into that first since you're probably already familiar with the Zoom tool, is it moves everything around. For instance, I still have the two artboards up. But I don't find myself ever using the shortcut H. The hand tool is most useful to be used with the shortcut spacebar. For instance, if I'm drawing a circle, and I know I want to draw a bunch of those circles, eventually I'm starting to get to the end here. I could go over to my hand tool, or I could even hit H, but then I have to go back to my circle tool. What I'm doing now is I'm holding in the spacebar. I still have my circle tool up, and as soon as I release the spacebar, it goes back to whatever tool I was using. So, before I started this tutorial, I knew the hand tool was H, but it kind of hit me when I saw that because I don't ever use that. And you never will either as long as you use the spacebar. It's much more useful. And just like the hand tool can be brought up really quickly without and released and going back to your previous tool, you can do that with the Zoom tool as well. You just hold Control and press spacebar. So if I keep making my circles, and I want to make a bunch of circles right here, I just press Control and spacebar, and that brings up the Zoom tool. And as soon as I release Control, as you can see, I'm just holding the spacebar. It brings up the hand tool. You can recenter it. If you let go of both of them, it just goes back to your circle tools. So, those two shortcuts you're going to want to use all the time. So it's spacebar to bring up the hand tool. Right now I have my direct selection tool open. Say I wanted to adjust, delete, and Control spacebar to bring up the Zoom tool. So when you're navigating, those two tools are going to be the most useful. They've made it so that you don't have to switch tools all the time. Now let's take a look at the Zoom tool, because there's many different ways you can use this. I'm going to create a few shapes. Alright. The first thing to know about the Zoom tool is it behaves a lot like the other tools when you're holding in Alt or Option on a Mac. If I were to just have my Zoom tool up, it's going to be zoom in. As you can see, about a plus sign in the middle of the tool. Or if I hold in Alt while I'm using it, it's going to be zoom out. The way the Zoom tool zooms in and out is based on where you click in the document. If I wanted to zoom in on this shape right here, let's make these a different color. Kind of boring the way it is, I guess. Okay. If I wanted to zoom in on this shape, I would click right in the middle of it. Keep clicking right on the middle. And so on. The same goes with the zoom out. If I wanted to zoom out and have a black shape centered, I would just be clicking on the middle of it. So there's a much easier way to zoom in to things, and that's to drag with the zoom tool. But that's how you zoom in on something. It's really easy. You just drag a zoom selection around it. There's some shortcuts to zooming, and they're easy to access because it's just control and usually a number. For instance, control plus is to zoom in. I'm also hitting control minus. So those two are for zooming in and zooming out. But even more useful than that is control 1. That shows it at, if you look down here, 100%. So control 1 will show your artwork at the actual size. Even if I'm way out here, control 1 will show it at the actual size of 100%. Control 0 will make your artboards fit the window. So by pressing control 1, I can zoom out and see at 100%, and control 0 make your artboards fit the window. Those are particularly useful if you're zoomed really far in here and you've been doing your work and you could hit the zoom tool out a bunch of times without moving your mouse around, and suddenly I have no idea where I am. It's a hassle. Then I find myself way out here, you gotta drag a zoom and get back here. Well, if you're zoomed way in on something, it's much easier just to hit control 1 if you want to see it at 100%, or control 0 to see your active artboards. Now, another way to navigate without using the hand tool and the zoom tool, although I really just don't like it, I don't think it's very useful, would be to use the navigator. I can drag the box around the navigator. I can click on one thing in particular to center it, kind of, because I'm using the hand tool and there's no snap to or anything. Or I can zoom if I go down here. But as you can see, with all the shortcuts like control 1 to zoom in to 100% and control 0 to zoom into the artboards, as well as dragging a zoom marquee and all the shortcuts to bring up zoom and the hand tool, that the navigator is really not all too useful. So I like to keep it on info. Now, you may have a view that you really like that you want to keep. And let's say that I have some of these on different layers. So I'm going to put each of these on a different layer. Okay, and let's get Navigator out of there. So I have, say, this layer selected, zoomed in right here. I have it on Pixel Preview. I'm just going to go to View. Let's say I want to keep this view. I'm going to go to New View, and name it whatever I want. Pixel layers 2 and 3 zoom. Okay. Hit OK. And let's save another one here with just this layer showing. Let's bring out the color panel. I don't think it's really going to do anything, but let's zoom in like this. Take it off pixel preview. Okay. So just go up to view and new view. I'm just gonna, it's just for showing you guys anyway. I'm just gonna put some gibberish there. So as you can see, I have some already pre-saved here for this document. I was just messing around earlier. So we'll go to the one we created first. It goes back to pixel mode, as you can see. It has the layers selected, and you can tell that by the fact the pink circle is not showing. And if I go to view, this is the one we just made, TSYH, the very last one we made. It's just like I left it. So views are very helpful, clearly. And if you have an area that you want to work in on a complex document, you can save that view. You can save, say you also wanted it to appear how it would when it prints. You would save it as pixel preview. And you can constantly go back to that view just by going onto the view menu and selecting it from your saved views. So things that new view remembers, whichever layers you have selected, the preview mode, and aside from magnification, also the position. So like if I was over here, I could save that as a view. If I was over here. That's it for this video, so thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Pretty soon we're going to start getting into creating actual objects in Illustrator, like with the pen tool and the pencil tool.